When I uploaded the video on seven bearded sisters, I was asked by my subscribers to talk about Koigi Wamwere being abducted from Kampala to Nairobi. People say he was abducted from Kampala. What I knew when I was in service is that he was abducted from from Busia, Uganda. It could even be Malaba, Uganda. But what I know is he was abducted from 5 or so kilometers inside Uganda. And let me tell you one thing. Whether he was abducted in Kampala or even kwa Nyankole huko or Soroti huko, there is no difference. Because you are not supposed to be arrested by the Kenyan police inside Ugandan or any of our neighboring countries, even if it is 5 inches from the border. There is a procedure. If you are a criminal, there is a procedure. They say extradition. I'll not go into that. Now, saying that he was abducted from Kampala, you may unknowingly, unwittingly be castigating the Ugandan authority. I say so because if you are abducted 5 kilometers from the border, before even the Ugandan army or before even the local police, I didn't say, sorry to have said Ugandan army. I say if you are abducted 5 kilometers inside a country, before that country's police, I made a mistake of saying army, before that country knows you are already 5 kilometers inside the other in this country, and then the other police may not readapt you or something like that. So, but when you say that he was abducted from far, you are castigating the police of that country, which is unfair. Although any government is supposed to protect all people, citizens and visitors, equally when you are within the soil of that country. But trying to put it in Kampala, it means that you are casting doubts on the Ugandan police. That is the only difference. Before I say how it happened, I will also want to talk to the younger people today. I have seen, for somebody who has worked there, I've seen that within the GCs, some people have placed themselves strategically. They have placed themselves strategically to gain money from that. I remember it was a program of JKL where one of them told Babu Owino on set, on air, that they wanted $500,000 from Babu Owino, a very senior member of GNC. We have another situation where somebody, up to now, he has not done anything, but I still am not convinced. I think he's placing himself strategically for any of the 3 ways. One, he's placing himself strategically so that in future GNC has no leader. So when they reach a place and decide to have a leader, then he has placed himself strategically. The second thing, he has placed him, which I cannot prove, the 3. He has placed himself strategically to gain money from NGOs. And lastly, like his friend did, he wants to buy public address system worth 1 million shillings. Akibagain, he is going to buy it at 840,000. Public address system. Okay, I don't know. Has he ever told us, has he ever guaranteed us that this public address system, if there is any that is worth that amount, it will be used exclusively for exposure? We have a problem in Kenya. We saw it even with Raila Amolo Odinga. I was there. I said that Raila Amolo Odinga is somebody who uses blah 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 to gain financially and what. And I even talked of it when he was in Kamiti prison. So young people, when you see somebody coming out and whatever and say, mzee, wakati yako iliisha, we tuelezee ye mambo ya Nyayo na Nyayo House, wachana na maneno ya jinsi. I can tell you that as days go on, people are already proving me that, hey, kumbe you are saying this and you knew. That is what we are also facing now. And among those people, I tell you, among those people who utilizes such an opportunity for their own advancement was Koigi wa Wamwere. Anakula kuwili huku na huku. I will just say, because today I'm supposed to talk about how he was abducted. But maneno ya kukula tuwili, I will tell you this. There is somebody, a Kuria by tribe, I'll tell you as I remember, Masemo, Peter Kimanthi Masemo. No, Peter Kimanthi Masemo was a CID officer, but there is this, he's now a pastor. Forgive me if I by the end of the tape I'll not have remembered his name. This man was sent by Tanzanian army. He was a member of the Tanzanian army, and he up to date is a preacher, and is from the Kuria tribe. So the thing was that he was to join the army and start sending sketches and pictures of the kind of tanks we had in Kenya. But he was discovered, and he became a crook. He did a lot of things. I've even covered him before. Now this fellow, one time he was arrested and jailed for life. He saw that among the Kihingu, yeah, he was Kihingu. Kihingu, just like you and other youth who are around, Kihingu realized that in their struggle when they are struggling for multipartyism, they were struggling for democracy, they were struggling for ABCD. Among the people he trusted most was Koigi wa Wamwere. So he agreed with Koigi wa Wamwere that they were to meet at Subukia and then exchange ideas on the second liberation of the country. And they agreed. And you know, Kihingu was a former tank driver. So he's a soldier and a half. So he decided that he would visit Koigi wa Wamwere at night. And when he would visit him at night, they would make their plans. Let's say arrive there at around 10. They discuss until 5 a.m. Then around 5 a.m. he disappears into the darkness. So when he came, the first thing Kihingu noticed was that Koigi wa Wamwere had harvested his farm. So apart from one or two banana things which were there, but whatever he had planted, he had harvested, and the field was clear, and it was somehow dark, but there was no moon there, but he could see that. Of course, he was a trained soldier. Not only was he a trained soldier in Kenya, he was a trained soldier in 2 countries. So he's somebody who, and askaris are very strict on observation. So I'm sure they had harvested they had harvested maize. So you harvest maize twice. First of all, you stock them together, and then later, after you remove the maize from those stocking, you leave that mafefe to lie down. He noticed that, and then they went and chatted for a long time, and then he decided to leave. And as he was leaving, checking on the on the shamba, he found that the mafefe which was down were now up. His askari instinct told him that that is a camouflage, and soldiers were there waiting for him. But before he could react, he was already arrested and he was taken to court. So that is why I'm telling you people that in your struggle, the third, is this the third or Nimezek? I don't know how many they are. If you are in your struggle, just bear in mind the philosophy. Bear in mind the philosophy of a detective. A detective, when he's coming, he only knows that it is only God and himself, the investigator, who he did not commit that crime. Even the CCIO, the county CID officer, if he sends me to come and investigate a case, I have to be so open, because even he himself, my boss, who assigned me this job, may have been the crook. So you go and tell him, Afandes, even this fight, you fight knowing that you are on your own. But anyway, today I was supposed to talk about Koigi Wamwere, how he was abducted in the Ugandan soil and taken to Kenya and detained. Koigi Wamwere, and before I even go there, I have to tell you that there is another thing that Koigi is not serious. When he came back to Kenya in 2002, he contested for a parliamentary seat and was elected an MP, and Kibaki made him an assistant minister. I don't know which ministry. But as he was the MP for Nakuru, as he was an assistant minister in the government of Mwai Kibaki, he was on the payroll of Norway. Actually, what Norway does is that if you prove that your life, if they consider you as a refugee and whatever, they place you on a payroll, on a humanitarian payroll, for the time that your risk is there. Once he was elected the MP, he should have talked to the Norwegian government and told them to stop that further payment, and maybe even refund money up to the day he was elected. I don't know whether he still earns money from the Norwegian government or not. I wanted you to know that. And also, he has a background with the Norwegian government. Norway, even the time when other countries had not started democracy, even when ambassadors and high commissioners could not freely interact with, the people in the opposition. Those days, Norwegian associated themselves with human rights. They associated themselves with human rights. And the more the African governments punished you, is the more that the Norwegian government gave you moral or even financial support. And the financial support they used to give you was just enough for you and your use, not you and okay, Norwegian government was like Ford Foundation now. Theirs is only to accountable for democracy, the right to picket, the right to do whatever, whatever. So when it happened that Koigi's life was in a danger, the Norwegian government smuggled him to Norway and he stayed there for quite some time. But then, that is the time of Mwakenya and others. Okay, he may have been in Mwakenya because the headquarters of Mwakenya was in Sobukia area. But what I know is that he was very much into issues of democracy, the same as, I think in that line, the cleanest person is Wafula Buke, the same as Wafula Buke and others. So when he went to Norway, he started coming to Kenya, and he would make arrangements for people to travel to the Kenyan border. I said I'm not sure whether it is Malaba town or Busia town, but the difference is the same. So he used to come up to the Ugandan side, and those people who who were who were associated with him, they would come all the way from Nakuru to the border, and they would cross over to Uganda and get briefings. I mean, he briefs them and they brief him and whatever, then they come back. The intelligence, that is the special branch, of course, knew about that and whatever, and they even knew that these people used to go to the border town and talk to him and come back. So one day, Koigi was, the intelligence officers crossed over to the Ugandan side. And we have, you hear this piki, piki are called boda boda. It came from bicycles. And they came from bicycles because bicycles used to smuggle things from one way to the other. And they used to use another. It was border to border, border to border. So they used to smuggle things through other means other than the official means. That is border to border. And unasikia baiskeli ikaitwa boda boda, and then pikipiki is also called boda boda. So these people went and got him and applied sleeping drug on him. When he became unconscious and whatever, they crossed through Panya routes with the border borders ways of bicycle and took him to Nairobi. And that is when he was detained. This happened in 1990. That is all I have for today. Thank you.